What's going on, Imperials? Pokemon moves are as essential to the game as the pocket monsters themselves. Selecting the right moves can make or break a team. But since there are over several hundred moves, trying to learn them all can be an even bigger mess than remembering all of the Pokemon. So, here are what I think are the most forgotten moves in Pokemon. We'll start with the worst type, Fighting. There are actually quite a few more fighting moves than I realized, because you usually only see the same handful. Mat Block was going to make this spot, but the only reason it didn't is because I thought Greninja used it in Smash Bros. But he doesn't. So think of that as an honorable mention, I guess. But the real one is Storm Throw. Can anyone tell me what this does? It's a base 60 power move that can be learned by 3 people. That's right, a whopping 3. One of them is only by breeding, and another isn't even a fighting type. Sure, this move always results in a critical hit, like the ice move Frost Breath, but why bother when you can just fire off a close combat and do just as well? The dark move is Power Trip. I had legitimately never heard of this move. Basically, it's a weak attack that gets exponentially stronger based on how many stat boosts you've had. That doesn't sound so bad. Let's see who all can learn— oh, it's just Crocodile? Huh. Well, some other can learn it through breeding, but I guess this mediocre move is sort of like Crocodile's signature attack? That's kind of a bummer. There are actually a lot more fairy moves than I even knew about. Look at these. Have you ever heard of some of these? Fairy Lock? Crafty Shield? Aromatic Mist? Floral Healing? But I think the worst one would have to be Flower Shield. This move raises the defense of all grass types on the field. Wait, that can't be right. Grass types? Why does a fairy move affect only grass types? How does that make sense? There aren't that many fairy types that are grass, but then again, not many people can learn this move anyway. Even in doubles, I have no idea why anyone would waste a turn to use this move, when most of the grass type weaknesses are going to be on the special defense side. I had heard of most of the bug moves before, but was unfamiliar with Rage Powder. I didn't even know what it did. Apparently, it enrages everyone on the field so that attacks only go to them. It basically works like Follow Me, except why would anyone want their bug type to take all the attacks? They're statistically among the frailest Pokemon in existence. Using this move all but ensures that you won't get off a second one. There aren't very many rock moves at all from which to choose. Initially, I had chosen Wide Guard because even though it can protect from area attacks, it does see some use, and can be learned by so many people. What almost nobody can learn is Rock Wrecker. This is apparently the rock-type version of Hyper Beam or Hydro Cannon, or one of those moves where you have to recharge on the next turn. I can only assume that it used to be the signature move of Rhyperior for some reason, because it can only be learned by him and Crustle. And really, how many people do you see training those? Until this move gets some wider distribution, you likely won't be seeing it around at all. Apparently, there's a ghost-type move out there called Nightmare. Not Nightshade, Nightmare. Apparently, when this move is used on a sleeping target, it will cause them to lose 1/4 of its health every turn. So I guess it's kind of like Curse, except it only works when they're asleep. So you can waste a turn putting them to sleep, and then using Nightmare, or you can just do it all in one turn. Does the effect stop after they wake up? Wait a minute, this has been a move since Generation 2? And in all that time, only 10 people can learn it? No wonder I've never heard of this move. With over 170 normal moves, there are probably at least a dozen forgotten ones. But when I saw that there was a move called Spotlight, I was flabbergasted. I had never heard of such a thing and had no clue what it did. Apparently, the user shines a light that makes everyone target a single person. So it's like the opposite of Follow Me. Follow them, I guess. I can't see how this would be at all useful. Just manually target the same guy. Or use Instruct. Plus, it's only learned by like 4 people, so odds are that you will never see this move used in any capacity. There are actually a lot of grass moves, and I surprisingly recognize most of them readily, except for one called Strength Sap. To me, that sounds more like an ability than a move, but the user restores its health by the amount of the enemy's attack stat. Assuming they have a decent physical attack, that might actually be handy. Oh wait, it also lowers their attack at the same time? Well, that just makes it worse the next time you use it. Just use Synthesis instead. Whose idea was this, anyway? Oh, it's exclusive to Morlul and Shynotic. No wonder it's terrible. Psychic has an abundance of obscure status moves like Wonder Room, but the most unknown has to be Guard Split and Power Split. Not Guard Swap or Power Swap, which simply switches defense or attack with the target. These split moves literally average the stats of attack and defense between the Pokemon on the field. I can't see how this could possibly be any better than swapping them. Even if you don't somehow strengthen your opponent, you've literally just made sure that nobody has an advantage, including yourself. That's a whole lot of effort just to make it an even playing field. So, there are some of the most forgotten moves in Pokemon. Did you know any of these moves? What are some other forgettable moves? Let me know down in the comments. Also be sure to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe so that you too can become an Imperial today. And we'll see you around next time!